Dude, watch this in the dark. I think I got up to check my logs like 3 times, then really made a creepy classic filled with paranoia. I wish I did have more to say about this, but I started this script in July and I saw this at the start of June. I would recommend for anyone who wants to be creeped out, stands alongside Silence of the Lambs for me. It's just as good and just as scary. The score is class, by the way. I saw this in a packed theatre and it was one of the best times I've had watching a film in the theatre all year. The vibes were immaculate. Final Destination continues to have elite creativity. You never know where it's going to go. The Rube Goldberg style of kills will never not be entertaining. This may have one of the best openings of a film I've seen all year. It's like 5 movies, but whatever. Dude, this movie is so fucking crazy. If Bow Wow was crossing motherfuckers in the league at 12, there's no way he'd be allowed to walk away from Bull. Didn't even take off his warm-ups. Or his Timbs. A great watch, I swear to God. If you haven't seen Like Mike, you need to rectify it immediately. If you can't admit this is a classic, then give me your Kino connoisseur badge at the door, because when it comes to Like Mike, get in or get the fuck out. I watched this film with my girlfriend. It's a Kiwi film following the somewhat true story of a group of Tongans wanting to perform as a brass band at the Rugby World Cup in 2011. A light-hearted affair. New Zealand's good at pumping out heartfelt films that give you the warm fuzzies. I would watch this if you want something light and breezy and it's funny. I don't know how the humour would translate to an audience outside of NZ, but give it a go if you're nasty. Okay, dude, fuck George Bush, fuck the CIA, fuck the FBI, and fuck Dick Cheney, fuck US imperialism. Honestly, this still holds up. More won the Palme d'Or for this back when it came out, and to be honest, if you went into this on a blind screening, knowing nothing of the military-industrial complex, the weaponized incompetence of the George Bush administration, which in my opinion maybe is projected to be incompetence, but I'm sure the warhawks in the cabinet knew exactly what they were doing. You will learn a lot, and even if you do know, it's always nice to get a refresher. Moore also adds a lot of human aspects and emotion in this film that help it not feel like a YouTube video essay on imperialism. Another girlfriend watch. Do I need to say much? I'm sure that anti-Disney incel YouTubers have had a field day with this. Another reason to leave this company in 2025. With an extended runtime, they managed to fit in less shit and give it less charm than the original. The Stitch character design was fine. I mean, how can you not screw that up? Didn't feel anything watching this. There was one scene that got me though, spoilers, when Stitch is drowning and he's just sitting at the bottom of the sea, accepting death. My girlfriend was crying, I was nearly crying, the couple next to us was crying, kids were traumatized. You can't put a fuzzy creature accepting his morality in a film and not expect me to get emotional, but apart from that, it's a whatever film. Never seen this before. Shocking, I know. Mad decent though. God, I miss Disney when they gave a fuck about making original live-action films. Despite this being based on a theme park ride, I know, but whatever. Lots of swashbuckling fun. I didn't know we'd be dealing with dead people that turn into skeletons and shit. It was kinda kooky, but apart from some 2000 CGI, which is only a problem with people who can't have fun, this still holds up. I recommend it for a family movie night as long as your kids aren't afraid of some skellies. This is a New Zealand documentary by Alistair Barry. I didn't even know what this was till I was in one of my favourite bookshops and they had a top 100 New Zealand films you should see book. And obviously loving film, I'd had a look and just skimmed through and saw one of the pages had a photo of David Lange, the former Prime Minister here, and I was like, oh, what's this all about? And it was a documentary called Someone Else's Country about Rogernomics and so forth. For any non-Kiwis watching this, Rogernomics was the pet name for the 1984 Labour Party's finance minister's way of running Aotearoa's economy after the complete failure of Muldoon's Think Big. This doc tracks the neoliberal downfall of my country and was not a fun watch. It's not bad, it's just really dry, so Zoomers may have a hard time watching this, but if you're at all interested in seeing how NZ became a state where increased unemployment and poverty became the normal in this country, and the complete abandonment of the working class, I highly recommend it. We track the selling off of state assets, foreign influence, rising unemployment, the collaboration of the Treasury to influence the so-called left-wing Labour into believing in such a hard right economic theory, and all the so-called benefits of neoliberal ideology. My heart broke like every 5 minutes watching this. We even have an interview with a younger Winston Peters, which given the state he's in now, it made for somber viewing. I recommend this one for anyone interested in NZ who thinks we're just some progressive socialist state that made Lord of the Rings. And this one's on YouTube. Okay, this right here is real shit. Barbershop may be the underdog for the single most clutch film I've seen this month. It'll make you laugh, it'll make you think, it'll make you appreciate the little things, the tangible things right in front of you, you know? Any film that can make you laugh, cry, and pray is alright with me. But for real, this one was a treat, and I did have a lot of fun. This film covers one day at a barbershop, and what a day it was, I suppose. Cedric the Entertainer as Eddie was probably my favourite, and the scenes where he can go wild and let loose were the highlights of the movie. He was spitting facts and made for a great wise elder to put opposite Ice Cube. This is an actual classic. If you disagree, have fun with your movie dates where you put on Tarkovsky and your girl or guy falls asleep, because I'll put on Barbershop and we'll have a great time. Genuineness in film will always win over any flaws I may see in a movie, and this one won me over. Yeah, this sort of sucked, to be honest. Martin Lawrence killed it as usual, but my god, it was lacking in pretty much everything else. Writing was ass, set design was nice though. Story was 2000s comedies is so hit or miss. I got nothing else to say about this one. Fortunate for you. Whoa. Beautiful film. Gus Van Sant, My Private Idaho has earned its acclaimed status. Blending queer cinema with the dramatics of Shakespeare is just wonderful. River Phoenix with a performance that will stick with you for a long time after you see it. A tragic, delicate, beautiful balancing act between hope and tragedy. The Skies may be my biggest case study for what could have been, but at least we can appreciate what we have. Keanu's performance also isn't terrible, which is great. Amazing film. Gus was in his bag for this and delivered a chilling film that hasn't left me since I watched it. If you haven't seen it, I'll refrain from glazing it even more, as it might build up the hype a little too much. Just masterful filmmaking. That's all you can really say in it. I also watched Van Sant's previous film, Drugstore Cowboy, and I might like it even more than My Private Idaho. This time, Matt Dillon's in the starring role, and my god, was he also like River brilliant. And again, this movie hasn't left my brain since I watched it. I think it's brilliant. I love the grimy, dirty feel of it, the examination of the cycle of abuse, breaking that cycle, the lifelong battle that comes with it. God, it's just great. Gus Van Sant is a brilliant filmmaker. These two movies have blown me away, and I'm looking forward to seeing even more of his films. I mean, I love Good Will Hunting, but yeah, this dude's made a lot more than that. This is another Alistair Barry documentary, still about Rogernomics, but this time we go into 1991 and beyond. This one focuses on unemployment and the idea of full employment. Perhaps this one is even more depressing than someone else's country. Rogernomics had fucked a shed load of Kiwis and put them out of work. Then we had Ruth Richardson's mother of all budgets to not only create more unemployment, but actively punish those on the benny, including benefit sanctions and famously cutting the benefit by 25%. You find out the hows and whys behind these decisions, and it's a blood-boiling watch. I find myself to be a real empathetic guy, and I take a lot of things to heart, and seeing each of these policies, seeing each of these, in my opinion, violent decisions being lauded 30 years later as the tough and brave thing to do just made me angry. Again, this isn't a bad documentary, and it is again dry, but if you feel like getting comfy in your bed and want to watch a bunch of rich crackers talk about how to make people in poverty even poorer, then this is for you. Watching this back to back with someone else's country would really make for a great double feature on the erosion of government and a liberal consensus. This is still affecting New Zealand to this day, with the current lot in charge right now trying to get us back to the good old days of cutting workers' rights, defunding public health, kicking the climate, infrastructure and social investment can down the road. You should realise that with neoliberalism, time really is a flat circle. Way better than the remake. Way better than the remake. Totally different vibe here from the previous Van Sant films I watched. This also won the Palme d'Or. It's a bit controversial. Some people loved it, some people hate it. I liked it though. A different type of storytelling here, a real swing. The loose narrative worked for me. The fly-on-the-wall camera is constantly flowing and following wherever our characters go. It adds a chilling, detached element of filmmaking where all you can do is observe. You can't help. You can only bear witness to the tragedy that happens at the end. It worked for me, but it won't work for everyone. You gotta see it for yourself. It doesn't have the answer to the subject matter. It succeeds in what it's going for, which in my opinion is to lay bare the stark reality of gun violence and a country failing its young people. Yeah, this makes sense. I watched this after Elephant. Michael Moore again tackles a huge American problem. I don't think I liked it as much as Fahrenheit, but this one's a little more lived up than the previous Moore film I watched. Michael really feels for the victims of these tragedies and his heart is on his sleeve here. It's hard not to admire the antics he gets up to. It's still really good. And just like Fahrenheit, it's a good starting point for maybe starting your journey into a more empathetic view of the world of political policy, as policy has a huge effect on people's lives, along with getting to see the corruption and just brain-breaking logic of the NRA and conservative politics. Yeah, I'm woke. So what, brah? I'm just a sucker for pain, man. I watched the Hollow Man, another Alistair Barry doc, this time about the National Party's 2005 election campaign and thousands of leaked documents that also coincided with a book by the author Nikki Hager of the same name, which I have, but I still need to read it. Yeah, I mean, it's what you'd expect from Alistair Barry, dry, clinical, packed with information. Don Brash really would have been a complete stain on this nation if he had won the election. Not that he isn't, but it's a portrait of a corrupt, easily influenced racist who deserved to lose. I forgot by the end of this that Helen Clark ended up PM and was shaking in my boots at the chance Donny B won. It was not meant to be. Not that Helen Clark is perfect, I have my criticisms, but one thing I've learned from all these documentaries is you cannot trust the National Party. As if I didn't know that before. Man, the vibes here were also immaculate. We follow Shay and Fidel as they executed the Cuban Revolution. I'm a bit of a Cuba stan, seeing this story told with patience, care. It was so satisfying. You see Soderbergh take his time, use the gorgeous environment to its full extent, and pull amazing performances out of his actors to make a great film. You get to know the man behind the myth of Che Guevara. I love this one, and I think it might be a little underrated. I don't see much talk about this online. Maybe it's just lost in the shuffle of Soderbergh's extensive filmography. Recommend. Another one I watched with my girlfriend. It's fine. The introduction of Danny DeVito, Dax Shepard, John Heder, and Will Arnett all in one blast was lit. You're not going to miss too much by seeing this, and more movies need to end with a dance party. Just saying. Dude, this thing is long, and this thing is beautifully shot, well acted, with ginormous sets, dripping with stunning colour. and yet it's fine. Maybe if I was an incel in the 50s, I'd be dapping up Cecil DeMille, saying he made a classic, but it's not the 50s and I don't know Cecil. I can appreciate a lot of this, there's a lot to love, but unfortunately Moses gets so risless when he spoke to God and lived in the mountains. The first half was better than the second. With the building of the pyramids, watching Moses navigate a toxic workplace, and rizzing up the honeys, but by the time this ended, he was a guy eating dry herbs and almost deadpanning the camera with a smile, name dropping as many religious Easter eggs as he could. Still though, if you're a fan of old school Hollywood epics, I'd still strap in for this ride, because you may like it more than I. It's not bad, but I found myself checking out of the second half for whatever reason. Oh well. It's a feel-good comedy with Woody Harrelson. How can you not like it just a little bit? I saw this in the theater with my girlfriend and her mum. It was like a ladies' night type of special viewing, and I'm not sure the ladies knew what they were in for. I wasn't even sure I was ready. My girlfriend's mum and I were talking before we saw this, and she said she was excited to see it, as was I. She was excited for an adult sort of rom-com after seeing the trailers and marketing. I knew about Past Lives before this, so I was sure this wasn't going to be everything it said on the tin. Yeah, the pre-cinema energy was like a ladies' night, obviously. Lots of laughs and people chatting. Then the movie played and the credits rolled, and the silence that swept the theater was a total vibe shift, man. I really, really like this, and it might be the best film of 2025 I've seen so far. I love the pacing, the extensive dialogue, meditating on love in 2025, the transactional value we put on romance. Well, not me, obviously. I'm a nice guy. I thought the chemistry between the three leads was great. I try not to let discourse dictate my opinions, and if I was a weaker man, I'd give in, because a lot of people have been shitting on the decisions made in this and the choices of our lead. Pedro Pascal is the unicorn. He has his flaws. Maybe not in real life, but I'm talking about the film, damn it. He's not in the relationship for love. He may think he is, but he needs to discover love in a way that isn't this transactional relationship that Dakota talks extensively about in the film. And I think the decision for Dakota to leave him, despite the wealth, the value he can provide her, was a decision I can agree with. If you've ever been in a loveless relationship, a relationship of convenience, it's brutal. It's not as easy as you may think it would be, and it's probably harder in the long run than the potential future breakup that could happen between Chris and Dakota's characters. I love the time and the patience the movie had. I didn't feel it was rushing. I think it was moving at the exact pace it needed to, and Celine's writing helped pull that all together with a real depth and full exploration of her themes. It helped to become a full meal by the time that John Prine song hits in the credits. The vibes, I suppose you could say, were on fleek. There's a storyline in this that explores the danger of dating, and I could see it being interpreted almost as a misery porn type C plot for the film, but it worked for me. I suppose I can't say I've ever experienced that type of tragedy that happens to a certain character. It hit hard for me, but yeah, if people were put off by that, I'd understand. But overall, man, I love this film, and I'm gonna have to watch Past Lives, as that's meant to be even better than this, so I'm excited. I loved Suffer, the last Alistair Barry doc I watched, this time about the influence of anti-climate change lobbying in the New Zealand political scene. As a woke sort of guy, you could say this is again a depressing watch. A lot of climate ministers get manipulated, screwed over, and even slandered, all because they try to change some of the very climate unfriendly ways we do business here. Fuck federated farmers, fuck John Key, fuck Winston, fuck Shane Jones, fuck David Seymour, fuck Luxton, and maybe even the Clark government for giving into the pressure of big business. My country is not a woke paradise, despite what our projection to the world may be. And I think Barry does a great job of assembling these narratives, telling a story that you won't hear from most Kiwis when talking about our country, unless they're miserable bastards like me. I knew this one ended the most depressingly. I'm hoping Alistair has another banger in store, but if he never wanted to make another documentary again after the sad, somber ending here, I understand. I recommend every documentary Alistair Barry has made if you want an insight into parts of New Zealand you might not know exist, even if it's a bit of a tragic watch. Jesus Christ. I didn't even know this included my fellow countryman Sam Neill before I turned this fucking crazy ride on. I was watching the opening credits for this, not knowing a damn thing about the plot, story, etc., and was surprised to see a credit for creature design. I was like, huh? Must be a monster or something. Then the movie started, and the diabolical ride this film took me on made me completely forget there was even a creature in this. By the time we get to one of the most horrific creatures I've seen in film, the movie had already taken me on the journey of, I don't even know how to describe the performances of our leads and supporting cast are frantic, hectic, and draining. It's just horrific. It's a film that will exhaust you, but in a way that'll still keep you on edge for what's to come. And by the time you get to that scene, you're questioning your life choices. It's truly unlike anything I've seen. It's a masterpiece that I don't know if I'm ever going to watch again. Excellent. Amazing, chilling, haunting, all the words. The meticulous care put into this movie was insane. Jonathan Glazer is one of the best filmmakers we have, and we gotta protect him at all costs. Hell of a movie to watch after The Materialist. I think this would be a great double feature if you're a miserable person, actually. This won the Best Picture and has been acclaimed since the moment it came out. Yeah, it lived up to the high expectations I had for it. This is the third Woody Allen film I've seen, and it's the best so far, barring Midnight in Paris, because that one's so comfy. This movie has been written about to death, and I don't think I can add more, but I'll say this had probably the best first 30 minutes of film I've seen this month. The rest of the film's still good, but that initial first chunk was brilliant. Yeah, it's fine. High-paced, energetic, well-acted. It's a good time, but goddamn, if you want to talk about hero worship, this here is culprit number one. I'm aware of SNL. I've seen funny skits. I know of everyone here. Maybe it was some real punk rebel show as it says it is. But it was just funny seeing the seriousness and the gravitas they put on fucking SNL of all things. Obviously impressive how they make a live skit show every week. It's not exactly high art, boundary pushing comedy. Maybe if I was alive at the time, I'd get more into this film, but some real eye-rolling moments that put so much weight to these moments. It's hard not to laugh at the self-seriousness of it all. Fuck, this was awesome. It's Fury Road, but with a lot more story and a lot more drama, of course. The action is bananas, and George Miller is still our best and brightest visionary. This is a good setup for Final Reckoning. I love this goddamn franchise. The stakes are high. Ethan is rogue again. And I'm hype. It's a setup movie that has its exciting moments, but I'm more excited now for Final Reckoning to see how it all ends. It was good. I love the world of the Hunger Games, so anything that expands the lore of these films makes me happy. It's a bit too long, but they really give you a full picture of the parts of the world that were unexplored in the original trilogy. It's a good watch. It's hard not to love world building, especially when it's the world of Pan Am, the capital, District 12, yada yada. Sad the games didn't go on for that long. I'm hoping the new film takes a long while of giving us more game footage, but I wasn't disappointed. Viola Davis was the best part of the movie, and seeing Jason Schwartzman was a nice surprise. There are legit gorgeous shots in this. It obviously isn't like a A24 Kino, but I'll take what I can get. Just give the director big budgets and let them tell a story of the Hunger Games in their way. I'm happy they don't pump these out. Just take your time and make quality. I'll always appreciate that, especially when it's one of the franchises I actually like in cinema. What a ride, man. What a ride. I saw this in theaters. I couldn't get IMAX tickets, so I sat in the second row, which is just IMAX on a budget. It has some of the most insane and compelling set pieces of the entire franchise. This plus Dead Reckoning combined may be my favorite film in the series, up there with MI3 and Fallout. The submarine sequence is worth the price of admission itself, as well as the bonkers finale. If you buy into Ethan Hunt being the GOAT and humanity's last chance at survival, then this will hit like crack. I loved seeing the flashes of the previous film on screen, especially because I was too young to see these in a cinema. Seeing Philip Seymour Hoffman blown up on the screen in 2025 was a treat. The film is a bit of a mess with countless callbacks and tie-ins coming in frequently, but I loved it. Paying tribute to the series as a whole helped this one be special for me. People are upset about the absolute hero worship of Cruise here, and I understand how it can be off-putting. He's not a great guy IRL, but he's the only one who's making films like this in 2025, so I can't be too upset. And I guess my morals are put aside in certain scenarios. Fortunately, I took it more of as a worship of the franchise on a whole. All the work it took to get here, the risks involved with giving hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars towards a franchise that was almost dead at one point, so I can take a bit of wank to look around, smell the roses, and say, job's done, you know? A thrill ride from beginning to end. I love action films, I love adventure films, and I hope this inspires a new generation to create big budget films that take time and care enough about its audiences to go the extra mile and create blockbusters that give a shit. Yeah, alas, it's current year, so I doubt that'll happen. First time watching this, and obviously it's brilliant. Everything is perfect. It's one of the craziest, most stunning openings I've seen in film. I love Danny Boyle. Despite the mixed bag it comes with his quality, he's shown that he's not afraid to take risks, like filming a movie on the potato. This did not go the way I thought it would in the best possible way. The opening left me floored and was absolutely chilling. The grainy digital aesthetic added so much, and I don't think it'd be the same movie if it was shot on film. It's a classic and the gold standard of quasi-zombie movies for a reason. Thanks, Danny Boyle. Keep doing your thing. Rewatched this with my brother. One of my favourite films. Holy shit. John Travolta's best performance. My favourite Brian De Palma movie. And probably in my top 5. The scale given to the story that really only involves like 3 people in a city is just magnificent. And if you want to get into older films, this is a tight 1 hour and 48 minutes. It tells a story of paranoia, fear, corruption. I'm still left floored by the ending, which is one of the most haunting of the 80s. My brother had never seen this, and his review after it ended was, "The movie banged!" What other review do you need? He's absolutely correct. He only watches the same 3 sitcoms, so that's huge. The focus on the sound is just so freaking genius. No surprises, a film about the sound has great sound, along with obviously gorgeous cinematography and colors. It's not hard to get immersed in this world. 10 out of 10, no notes, just go watch Blowout. Yeah, it's fine. I like the story enough. Some of the segments of this are stunning, especially the opening and the locked-in zombie massacre scene, but it got worse the longer it went on. I guess it tees up nice for setting up the outbreak of the rage virus to the globe. They should have just nuked the UK for real. Those kids can suck it, but I guess this is what happens when you let the US Army take care of a problem. The only TV show I watch. The vibes from the first 2 seasons is such a contrast to the latest seasons that have come out. Season 3 was a little bit divisive, but I liked it. I thought of it more of a depression spiral. It was a bleak last season, with Kami's behaviour, Sid potentially leaving and having a panic attack. It had its funny moments, but it was for sure a bummer for a lot of people, and I hope the season was a comeback in terms of positive energy. And that happened here. There was a lot of standout episodes. The wedding in particular left me with a smile on my dial. The final ep being a bottle episode was a swing that was a home run for me. I viewed it almost as a stage play. And what a play it was. The airing of grievances and addressing the elephants in the room was needed desperately. I love these characters and love where the show's gone, despite the nostalgia for season 1 and 2's high-octane adrenaline rushes. The patience of season 3 paid off here. I could go on about the storylines and implications, but that would be a whole video in itself. I'm desperate to see where the beer goes from here, as I think it'll be the last season next time we see these characters. Everyone's acting keeps leveling up, along with the writing and exploring of mental illness and stress. I love you, Sid. I love you, Richie. There's a lot I want to see next season, but I'll wait. I love this show. This is the only TV show I watch, so please don't let me down. And this is the only TV show I watch with my brother, so he wants to say some shit.
Say like, I don't watch TV shows that the port, but my brother, that's a TV sabab. Yeah, The Bear. Yeah, best. Yeah, The Bear season 4 was so lit. I mean, season 3 was depression. I shouldn't have binged it all at once. I watched every episode in like a day, and that probably was not a good idea. I think the creators intended you to spend weeks meditating with these guys, but instead, these days with streaming, I just am so A-brain that I watch everything all at once, and it sent me into a spiral. Season 4 was way more positive. It was good vibes, had by all. Lots of good standout moments by everyone. I mean, Sid was still the best character. Richie, still the GOAT. Kami, redemption to a T. Marcus had a million moments that made me smile. But the storyline with him and his dad was kind of tragic and sets up his arc for season 5 really nicely. I wish I could have gotten more with like Tina, Sweeps. I think they should have included more of his plotline. A whole episode dedicated to his rise and burn in baseball would have been awesome. But it is what it is. I enjoyed his wine arc. Abraham was a total treat. I mean, he was probably my favorite part of the season. Him and the dad from New Girl were just incredible. They had such good chemistry. Uncle Jimmy, again, he's so good. Him and Computer just had great chemistry, as always. You can really feel the direction shifting with the show. Seasons 1 and 2 was all about the mayhem and the chaos of the restaurant. Seasons 3 and 4, I think, have done a good job of stepping away from the kitchen and focusing on the lives of the characters outside of the confines. I mean, you get a whole episode where they hype up the chaos of the Bizzardo family, but instead they all band together at the wedding to help Richie's daughter overcome her fear. It was really beautiful. As my brother said, the final episode was a swing. And wow, they really pulled it off. I mean, it was so sick. You have the 3 best actors in the show just giving all-time performances and not a single one missed. I'm so excited for season 5. Yes, it is a bit sad that Kami is going to be leaving, but that's to be expected. Jeremy Allen White is so hot right now. I think this show has done enough to establish every character is vital to the story, and even though Kami's presence will be dearly missed, I'm sure they'll do something to give him a little bit of shine as he gracefully exits. All in all, The Bear is still the best show on telly. I mean, how can it not be? You got an all-star cast, excellent writing, great character building, and just the best cinematography in television. Go Mets.
And that's everything I watched this month. Goodbye.